my bag when I travel, and then you open an orange in an airport. Oh, and just like you watch people's heads, they're like, because they're eating these stale, sandwiches that were made 6 years ago that they, vacuum packaged and put in there, right? Exactly. I just open a fresh orange and they're like, what? Who's what? What is that? It's like popcorn almost. You know what I mean?
And it smells so nice.
Speaking of which, I remember one time I was showing property and somebody, it was a kind of a rainier day. It was coolish, as cool as it would get here in Florida, right? It was coolish. I think it was in the 70s, right? Okay. And so everybody had their sweaters on and everything else. But we walked in and they knew we were coming. Very quaint little house in Largo. I can picture it like yesterday. We walk in and they had a bread machine going. You know what? The client was ready to buy the house just for the machine, just because of that smell. It was. You know what? It doesn't. But it only has 2 bedrooms. That doesn't matter. It smells like bread. All right. But you want it 3. Doesn't matter. It smells like bread. Right? Yeah, but the living room doesn't have a separate living room. Doesn't matter. It smells like bread. It was awesome. It's like, aha, ding, 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 ding.
Do you remember a guy named Roger Butcher?
Oh yeah.
He used to say, put a little bit of cinnamon water when you have an open house in a cake pan, turn the oven on, it smells like cookies baking.
Yes, absolutely. People's senses, and trust me, it's a very powerful attractant. The sense of smell. Yeah, and people don't even realize it. It's kind of, subliminal, if you will, but it's there. That's incredible. So, okay, yeah. Speaking of which, when we get to the corn planting part, we're talking about bank-owned open houses. You're going to want something to overcome the smell sometimes, right? Like, what went on in here? You know what I mean? It's like, A, they never let their dog out, number one, or B, what kind of rituals went on in here? You know what I mean? You're wondering, why is there a chicken, hanging from the shower?
20%.
Right? Wonder what happened here. I wonder why they couldn't pay their mortgage. What happened there? So, all right. Oh, I guess I get my PowerPoint now. Okay. Here we go. First of all, who has not been to 100K at all? Anybody not been to the first couple sessions? All right. 1, 2. Perfect. We'll catch you up fast. 3. We'll catch you up quickly. If you want some more of what we're given, all right, then you just let us know. We got all the PowerPoints. We have recordings of these Wednesday morning sessions are actually recorded. All right, I think that's what a lot of people are relying on out there. Because I'm looking around the room, we're probably missing about 20 people that normally come. So I think they're out there saying, you know what, they look at the same radar. They look at the same radar and said, you know what, I'll wait for it to get the recording later. So that's okay. You know what, we normally don't. A lot of our training, we train and we record it, right? Because Jim and I, we have a theory: if we have to answer a question more than 3 times, then we'll record the answer to it, so you guys can go find it on your own, right? This is the one class that we don't encourage it because there's so much importance on the interaction, the rubbing elbows, the learning from each other kind of stuff. So kudos to you for braving the weather and being here. That's awesome. You're going to get more benefit out of it. I guarantee it by being here. All right.
I grew up in the Midwest outside Chicago. This is rain.
Yeah. That's right, exactly. Yeah, come on. We're not slipping on it. Right, exactly. Come on.
Biking to her inspection.
No, she rode a bike today.
Did she?
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Umbrella, coffee in one hand, balance.
I didn't see that.
That's funny. That's awesome. So, all right. So if you haven't been, we'll catch you up. If you want some of the other stuff that you've missed in the past, we'll get you caught up and we can get you those recordings and everything else. All right? So, there's a slide we showed at the very intro that says, sounds great, because I introduced this whole concept. Let's say, and by the way, 100K, we just call it 100K because that's a number, right? Some people it's too low, some people it's too high. Some people can't imagine making $100,000 in real estate. It blows their mind, so they don't even decide to work because that seems unattainable. Other people say, hey, look, if I don't get out of bed for twice that. All right, I get it. So let's figure out what that number is for you. And remember, it's not about the money. It just buys you options. Money is a way that we keep track of things so that we can do the things we really are put on earth here to do. We preach a lot. When I say preach, I'm not kidding. Those of you who've been around, right? I do preach, right? I preach a lot about quality of life, how we're going to do it. Why are we put on here on earth? Is it to sell real estate? No. There's a deeper purpose. We're all here. And what is that? All right, what change are you going to affect in the world? And can real estate allow you to do that? Yeah, absolutely. Now, real estate can buy you time, can buy you the money, can buy you the resources to do what you really are here to do. All right, and get that done. So that all sounds panacea. That sounds great, but how are we going to do it? We talked about we're going to study from those who have done it and are doing it. No better way. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. You guys have seen me post on the 100K group page, by the way. If you haven't been on the 100K group page, you need to request access to this, facebook.com/groups, the 100K club. Okay, you have to opt in. I mean, I have to allow you in. All right, you have to get permission because we gatekeep that a little bit. We got up to about almost 200 now, 195, 196 or something like that, people in there. And if you get 196 realtors in any one spot, then mortgage people start sniffing around, and title people are coming out of the woodwork, and everybody else who wants a piece of your action. So we try and gatekeep around, so we keep those people out. All right, we don't mind them in, but we don't want them trolling for, hey, look, by the way, interest rates are great. All right, so we're gonna study those who've done it. Oh, I posted in there. This is where I was headed for. I posted that. Guess what? None of this is new. If I were teaching a group of chariot salesmen in 280 BC, we'd probably be talking the same stuff. All right? I'm going to show you how to dig deeper with a few relationships rather than shallow with many. That's all they would teach. All right? If they were teaching the right kind of things, because that's what works. Is you go deeper with a few rather than shallow with many to learn how to do it. We're going to learn from others in the room. We're going to focus on income-producing activities, things that actually matter. We're going to learn to time block our time so that we are spending our time on things that are actually going to produce income, not wasting our time on things that don't, and or learning to outsource things that don't produce income, right? Remember, if someone will do it for 12 bucks an hour, you shouldn't be doing it, right? Everybody agree? Okay, that's what I talk about hiring out. We're going to learn from our mistakes, which implies what? We make some, all right, which implies what? We're doing something. Thank you very much. Okay, you got that now. We got that. This leads to this, leads to this, all right? It reminds me that I said it's raining out there. One of the ladies up front, she said, man, it's really raining. She goes, yeah, but rain makes corn. I said, corn makes whiskey. All right? And then if you continue on with the country music song, there's a song out there that says, rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby get a little frisky. All right? So the name of the song is Rain is a Good Thing. Rain is a good thing. It's a good song. All right? We're going to learn from our mistakes. So we're going to get rolling with that. All right? We're going to do something. There are 3 I's in the 100K Club. 3 I's. We're going to give you ideas, inspiration. That's what we bring. Your job is the implementation, to implement the stuff. All this stuff, all knowledge, no do, doesn't work. All right? Does not work. Here's what happens. To know and not to do is not to know. Period. Why even waste your time knowing it if you're not going to do it? It's a very powerful proverb. To know and not to do is not to know. All right? It's just like you don't even really know it, so why would you do it? Okay? We're going to grow personally. We're all about personal growth. All right? Then we're going to stop chasing business. We're going to start attracting business. But if we're going to attract business, guess what? I've got to feel good about me. I'm not going to attract anybody if I don't feel good about me, if I'm not magnetic. All right? So how can I attract people? How do we feel better about who I am? We're going to feed off the synergy in the room because good things start to happen. All right? Synergy starts to happen. People start to make things happen. We got somebody who didn't have business last Saturday morning, woke up with no business, and now has 3 qualified buyers that she's working for because she implemented. All right? She did what we asked her to do. She took an idea and decided, I'm going to implement. So hallelujah, bam. That could maybe be me, right? That's the synergy in the room that starts to happen. We're going to live in accountability. Accountability is powerful, people. All right? You've got to have it. You've got to have somebody who's going to drag you along. It's going to say, you're going to be here. I don't care if it's raining. All right? You're going to be here. We're going to live a disciplined life. We talk about there's freedom and structure. Boy, it's oxymoronic, right? But the more structured we get, the actually more freeing it becomes. Sounds like it doesn't work, right? But the more structured you are, the more free you get. Consistently evaluate our progress, and we're going to finish the bridge. We're not going to just start a bunch of things and never finish them. All right, that's what we talk about. You'll hear that term a lot from us, right? Finish the bridge, finish the bridge, finish the bridge. Don't just start it, look at somebody else's bridge, oh, that's better, I'm gonna do that one, and I'm gonna do that one, I'm gonna do that one, and then at the end of the year, we have 12 bridges started and none finished. Finish the bridge. And we're gonna learn to develop and play to our strengths. You guys have missed it in the first couple sessions. I'm gonna play, this is session 4 for Marcus Buckingham, okay? We're talking about our strengths. What are our strengths? Things that we do, all right? He's developed the whole concept. You'll watch. Trombone player 1 is starting to come along, you can start to get the gist of it. Take me a second to set up so when we get to it. Okay. Yes?
Yeah, of all the work I've done with different companies and of all the different stuff I've written, probably the most controversial is if you want to know the one thing about sustained individual success, it would be find out what you don't like doing and stop doing it. Find out what you don't like doing and stop doing it. People seem to have a really hard time with this one. They look at me and give me that yeah right response. You know, I'll say, well, if I don't like talking on the phone, I should just not talk on the phone. Yeah, right. Or if I like starting projects but I don't like finishing them, I should just quit finishing them. Yeah, right. Or if I don't like doing emails, I should just not do emails. Well, yeah, right. Nothing's as straightforward as that, is it? I mean, we're always going to have some parts of our job we don't like doing. That's why they call it work. My point was just that you've only got a certain amount of time to invest in your achievement of work, and the time spent on activities that weaken you. And that really is the best definition of a weakness, as an activity that weakens you. It's just not a very good investment of your time. It's actually a bad investment of your time. How bad? Well, bad in the sense that you don't get a good return. You know, you can practice and practice and practice the activity, but just like me with my weakness for confrontation, you go from terrible to wrong. Or bad in the sense that it's really hard to concentrate on that activity and you don't come up with many good ideas, you're not very creative. Bad in the sense that you don't set very challenging goals for yourself, and even if you do, when you meet an obstacle or a bump in the road, you don't feel that oomph to kind of redouble your efforts and keep going. Bad too, I think, in the sense that the time right after you do the activity isn't back to normal time, is it? When you're done with the activity, you feel down, sort of down at time. You feel weak, about you're least able to contribute. And I think finally, bad in the same way that economists call an opportunity cost. Because you've lost that time that you've invested in a weakness, and you can't get it back, you can't reclaim it, you can't lease it back from someone. It's gone, permanently gone. And so you forever lost the opportunity to invest that time in one of your strengths. So yeah, in a word, that's a bad use of your time. If you want to make the biggest contribution for the longest period of time, you got to take responsibility for identifying those things that weaken you and then deliberately try and veer away from them. I'm not saying you'll never get it down to zero. I mean, maybe you will, but few of us are that lucky. But I think for most of us, it's a matter of degrees. If you can deliberately veer away from those activities or try to, then there's no reason why you can't, over time, get it down to about, I don't know, a quarter of your day. Maybe a quarter of your day given over to things that drag you down. That's not gone completely, but it leaves a big old chunk of time, 3/4 of your day, that you could then deliberately fill with activities to strengthen you. And that's the point, really, isn't it, of minimizing your weaknesses. Not so you'll have less work to do, but so you'll free up a big chunk of time so that you'll be able to invest that in your strengths and so contribute more. Well, all well and good in theory, but how do you actually do it? I mean, we all live in the real world, don't we? How do you actually minimize the time you spend on an activity that weakens you? Well, before you try anything else, maybe the activity that weakens you could lend itself to the simplest solution of all. Just stop doing it and see if anyone cares. I know that sounds crazy, and you're thinking, well, I can't just do that. Before you dismiss it, just look at the activity. Remember, I once interviewed a great salesperson. She was fantastic, but she hated filling out her pull reports. Now, she did it because she was responsible, but every week it would drag her down. I think she would still be doing them today if she hadn't one day wandered past her manager's office and seen him feeding them carefully into the shredder. She knocked on the door, went in, and said, "Hey, have any idea how long it takes me to fill those out? Do you even read those?" And he said, "No, actually I don't. They were something that my predecessor did." She goes, "Well, do you mind if I don't do them?" And he goes, "No, it's fine." Now, I'm not saying it's going to be as easy as that for you, but my experience at least is that companies are really good at starting new work streams or starting new projects or activities and terrible at stopping them. It's like they send satellite after satellite up into orbit and then leave them spinning around, circling up there, never to come down, just hanging over us. So before you try anything else, just look at the activity. Is it necessary? Does actually someone benefit from it? If not, maybe you can stop it. See if anyone cares. Now, maybe it is necessary, in which case you can't just stop it. The next most obvious thing to try is see whether or not there's someone out there who is actually strengthened by the very activity that we consume. Is there someone out there who loves what you learn? You think that'll be hard? Think there's no one out there that can love what you learn? Well, think a moment longer, because the weird and wonderful thing about strengths and weaknesses is that no two people are quite the same. What strengthens you might weaken someone else, and vice versa. And initially, you're so, and I know I'm this way, you're so close to your own strengths, you're so familiar to them, that you can't quite imagine that anyone else sees the world differently than you. But look around, and you may actually see that although you hate numbers and hate the admin stuff, and you can't quite conceive of the fact that someone out there could actually love it. I mean, you think, well, yeah, maybe someone could put up with it for a while, but love it? Nah, never. But if you look around, you might actually find there is someone like that. Someone who gets jazzed by the very things that bore the living daylights out of you. And actually, if you look even further around, you'll see that the most effective people, the most sustainably effective people, are brilliant at finding just the right partner. Someone who's thrilled by what bores them. And in fact, if you look at the great companies out there, the great organizations, many of them are actually founded on really strong partnerships. I mean, for the 10 years between 84 and 94, the Walt Disney Company was built on the partnership of Michael Eisner, the competitive strategist, and Frank Wells, who was wonderful at building one-on-one relationships with the executive team. At Home Depot was built on the partnership of Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank. Marks and Spencer was built on the partnership of Mr. Marks and Mr. Seif. At Hewlett Packard, it was built on the partnership of Mr. Hewlett and Mr. Packard. Wherever you look, there are these wonderful, effective partnerships. Now you may say, well, of course these guys can find just the right partner. They're the chief executive, for crying out loud. But actually, I think the causal arrow goes the other way. These guys got to be the chief executive, the leader of the company, because they were so good at finding the right partners. Maybe if you want to minimize one of your weaknesses, maybe you can do the same. Look around, ask about. I know people don't wear their weaknesses and strengths tattooed on their arm or sort of stenciled on their forehead. So ask around, look, observe, see whether you can find someone who finds things strong that you find weakening. And if you find someone like that and you want to hand it off to them, don't feel guilty. Handing off to somebody to some activity that strengthens them is not inconsiderate, it's not irresponsible. It's actually freeing both of you up to contribute more. You don't like it, he does, so do it. Remember, boring is in the eye of the beholder. Now, if you can't find the perfect partner, if you can't find that guy, then okay, you're going to need another tap. And here's another one that you might want to try. Offer up one of your strongest strengths and see whether you can experience some success in that, and then parlay that success gradually into a new, changed role that is made up of that strength most of the time. I once interviewed an incredibly effective executive whose real genius, whose real strength was starting things up. She was brilliant at beginning a new project, swooping in, identifying all the different variables at once within it, and then figuring out how to arrange those variables into the most effective configuration. So she loved startup. What she loathed was implementation. Now, the conventional wisdom would have told her, hey, look, suck it up. If you're going to get better at your job, if you're going to grow your career, you're going to have to get a lot better at implementation. That is an area of opportunity for you. But she actually tried a different tack. Once she'd gotten over the guilt of not being this beautifully, perfectly well-rounded executive, she decided to keep offering up that startup strength of hers. She sought out projects where it was needed, or she volunteered it to teams where it was missing on the team. And gradually, over time, she became known as the startup expert in the company, the startup queen, as she was known by her boss. And now as she looks back, she can actually see that her career, a very successful career, is actually made up of a series of 18-month gigs, 18-month assignments, each one of them using that startup strength of hers. And then, of course, there were people afterwards coming behind her whose particular strength was implementation. They hated the chaos of startup. They wanted to implement something that had already been arranged. Well, maybe you can do the same as she did. Maybe you could find a small stream in which your strengths can flow and then carve it into the Mississippi. Now, maybe none of those tactics will work. Maybe you can't stop doing it because it's necessary. Maybe you can't find the perfect partner. And maybe you can't gradually navigate away from it. In which case, don't give up quite yet. There's one other tactic you might want to try. See whether or not you can just change your perspective on the activity. You're not going to change the activity, just change the way you look at it. And of course, if you're going to do that, the perfect perspective to look at it is your strengths perspective. So look at it through the lens of one of your strengths. I once interviewed a very effective assistant, really good assistant, whose particular weakness was doing expenses. Just loads. It just dragged her down every day. She had to do expenses every day, and it dragged her down every day. Now you might think, well, you know, an assistant who doesn't like to do expenses, that's a pretty crushing weakness. But she did have a strength. She was very competitive, loved scores, numbers, loved keeping track of it all. And so rather than just bemoaning the fact that she'd be dragged down by a weakness every day, she actually chose to look at doing expenses through the lens of her competition. She chose to make a game of it. She would keep track of how much she could get done in a certain period of time, or she'd keep track of how fast she could get it done, and she'd have little personal bests of hers. And weirdly, it sounds odd, but weirdly, it became for her almost a Zen-like moment in her day, something she almost looked forward to. I'm not suggesting they'll be able to do exactly what she did, but maybe by looking at your weaknesses through a different perspective, a strengths perspective, maybe you'll be able to have them be just a bit of a less drag on you. But if you hate doing budgets, but you love serving guests, maybe you can see how doing the budgets will serve the guests. If you love working on a team but hate planning meetings, maybe you can come to see how the planning will help the team. Maybe if you love doing the right thing, that's what makes you feel strong. But you hate getting in the middle of an angry customer complaint. Maybe you can come to see how sort of rejig things in your mind to see how resolving that complaint will serve your value system. Now this does involve a little bit more mental gymnastics than the other tactics, but hey, if you can change your perception on it, maybe you will actually change your reality. You know, if you look around you, just look at the people in your life that you would consider to be lastingly, highly effective people. Just look at those people for a minute. I think what you'll see, and if I do it those in my life, I see that what has made them so effective is less about what they chose to do and more about what they chose not to do. It's less about how many doors did you manage to open and more about which doors did you have the self-discipline to close. It's less about all the stuff that you accumulate and more about what do you have the discipline to cut away. I mean, look at those people in your life. I'm sure they spend a disproportionate amount of their time doing things that strengthen them. But this didn't happen by accident. They kept their senses, over weeks, over months, over years even. They kept their senses finely tuned to those activities that weaken them. And they didn't try and change that. They kept their senses finely tuned to those activities. And then with great deliberateness, great precision, and little guilt, they cut them out of their life. If you want to make the longest possible contribution in your life, which I think is what we're here to do, make the greatest contribution that we possibly can, if you want to do that, then you should do the same as they did. Identify those activities that weaken you, and then edit them out. Almost simple. Find out what you don't like doing, and stop doing it.
something you don't want to do and stop doing it. So what's the trombone, right? He's done. He's over. Not happening anymore. Those of you who haven't been in the first couple sessions, basically what Buckingham's teaching us to do is, first of all, we busted some myths, and the first myth was that people need you to be well-rounded, all right, that you've got to be this perfectly well-rounded person. He blew that up saying, hey, what you got to do is bring your strength and bring it big, right? Because perfectly well-rounded teams are filled with people who are very specifically not well-rounded. Right, everybody brings their portion. You contribute this, you contribute this, you contribute this, and together the team is well-rounded because the individual members aren't. And then the second and third, he talks about, okay, now what are my strengths? And in essence, just like Kiyosaki, we talked about developed an asset. His definition of asset is something that cash flows, right? Buckingham's definition of a strength is something that when you've done it, you leave feeling strong. You want to feel better, not physically, and you might be physically tired, but you're emotionally amped up. Because man, that was awesome. I could do that. Man, let's go. Give me 2 more. Let's go. All right. I love doing that. Now it says, okay, that's perfect. Now, what do we all know? We have weaknesses or things that don't leave us feeling strong. Those are called weaknesses. How do I start to weed those out of my life? And that's what he was going through here. Right? Now, we all don't have perfect control of our lives. So, hey, look, I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that. And you find out yourself you're doing nothing, and then you're not making any money, and there's things like say you're almost under a bridge. That's not what we're talking about. It's like, how do I manage that effectively so that I can get to the point where I can do it? And if he knows the kid, right, he's getting creative. He's advertising, and it's perfect. The way I love artistic people, the way they've structured that. Right when Buckingham's saying, there are people out there who love what you loathe. Right? Powerful phrase. There are people out there who love what you loathe. And at that same time, the little girl is pulling the trombone player wanted ad down. Like, you know what? I like the trombone. And it's hard for us to imagine. Did you catch that? He's saying, it's hard for us. We get so ingrained in ourselves. We get so myopic, so self-centered, so here we are, that it's like it blows our mind. I mean, there are people that would love to sit in a cubicle for 20 hours straight and code data software or whatever, or create the video games that our kids love to play. They just thrive on that. All right, you put me in a cubicle for 20 minutes, and I'm like shaking the thing, ready to get out. Right? I'm like, forget this mess. I got to get out of here. I can't handle that. But there are people also who would, much less speak in front of 18 people, much less 1,800, would wet their pants, of having to do that. Right? So and so what we get so ingrained in that everybody thinks like I do. Right? I do it all the time. Trust me, I get reminded of it all the time in my house. Bob, there are more people in the world than you. Okay? There are more people in the world than you. This isn't Bob's universe, and we're just passing through. Don't forget there are other people out inside. So we have to remind ourselves that there are people that will actually love what we love. Hard for us to imagine. So you begin to hire that out, partner up with people who have that skill and love doing it. That's a strength. Boy, you start to put together a team like that. Look out, man. There's the potential is limitless, right? If you start to put people together. So start thinking on those lines, because we're constantly trying to get to that point where we're imagining those things. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn from our mistakes. We're going to grow personally, remember, because we're going to start attracting people. And in order to attract people, we have to be attractive, right? All right, and that means when I say not physically attractive, although that's part of it, it really is. Right? We live in a very aesthetically pleasing world that kind of stuff is rewarded. All right, and I'm not abusing the eye of the beholder. I get it. I'm not saying we're all walking around, I have a wide varied taste in my musical. Like I said, you look at my iPod, and I've got Vivaldi, and I've got Ludacris. All right, and all points in between. Okay, but that being said, I've got a lot of country music. We talked about rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, right? And
tequila.
What's that?
Tequila.
There you go. We got all that kind of stuff. That's right, exactly. We get it all covered. What's that?
Veggie Tales at one point.
Veggie Tales. I got Veggie Tales on there. I can go Larry Bob with you all day long. Okay. But all that being said, we want to be personally growing so that we can attract people. All right, that people want to do business with us. All right, because of who we are. We're going to feed off synergy. In the room, we're going to live in accountability because that's so important, right? It's awesome to have that. And we're going to do all the stuff and finish the bridge and learn to develop and play our strengths. All right, now, we talked 2 systems here. First system is what we call corn planting. Just a quick reminder. Corn planting is business yesterday. Bob, I came in here today, all right, and I have a convertible, all right, that's 1985 convertible and the roof leaks. Not a good day to have a convertible if the roof leaks, okay? I need money yesterday. I don't need money tomorrow. I got these businesses I need to create income 3 days ago. All right, so how do I do it? Well, we teach you a system that takes some work, but it's called corn planting because it's fast, right? We put corn in the ground late May, early June. It's knee-high by the 4th of July, okay?
You'll never forget that.
I will never forget that. I will picture your face every time I see my corn coming out of the ground, all right? On those corn stalks, I'm going to see your face there instead of my corn, okay? Knee-high by the 4th of July, and we're eating corn by late July. Fast, right? Well, we can teach you how to do that. We can teach you how to do it. We're going to do it with bank-owned open houses, all right? And why do we do bank-owned open houses? What's the key word we're looking for?
Traffic.
Traffic. Traffic, traffic, traffic. Volume of people, volume of people, volume of people. That's why we do bank-owned open houses. Do we do it because they smell better? No. Do we do it better because they're more convenient? No. Do we do it because they create more traffic? Yes. Period. End of statement. All right? It's the only reason we do those. Tell us a story.
So last weekend, Betsy and I had an open house. It was a bank-owned open house in our area.
How'd you find it?
MLS.
Okay.
I searched it up on MLS.
And you started calling the listing agent?
I did. I just called, probably took me about a half an hour, 45 minutes to find the open house. I called about 5 people and the person said, okay, no problem.
No problem.
Not a problem at all.
Got it.
So we called 4. Probably about 5 or 6 people came in.
Yep.
One was an agent, one had an agent.
8 people.
Was it 8 people?
See,
Okay.
that's your get track, exactly.
Yeah, we had everybody write down, their email addresses
Perfect.
and stuff, and I'm actually, we're gonna go out with the family this weekend, that came in and didn't have a realtor and wanted to go
Corn
out.
people. They woke up last Saturday morning without business to do, right? Went and got proactive, thought ahead of time, had an open house, bank-owned open house, and now have business ready to write. They're going to go find a house. I guarantee they will find them a house, all right, that they didn't have. Out of thin air. Business out of thin air.
And there's something else I want to add. I mean, that was our first open house.
Yep.
For us, it was very successful.
Yep.
But needless to say, we just had the plain open house sign.
Right.
And that's why I was talking to Cindy, that I need to get the other
Big
ones.
ones, yeah.
Because, and the sooner the better, because I want to make sure that we are representing the
Foreclosure.
Right.
You want the F word on your signs.
I'm feeling that if that was successful with just the plain open house
Yep.
signs, then the other way would be even better.
Guaranteed.
Now, I have to admit one thing, and this is when we're talking about partnership and how we complement each other.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both new in the entire business in the real estate world, but we are helping each other figure out things as we go. And yes, she did get that, and as the day progressed, I was like, you know what? We figure out the things that we needed to get better, and bring with us next time.
Good.
And at the same time, I'm like, okay, you got that next week, and I got the other. Which Monday, I made it down to 10 calls and I'm making how they went. And the funny thing, some of them didn't answer, some of them called me back, and some of them, a lot of them told me that they didn't want to do that because of liability purposes.
Understood.
But they don't know me.
Right.
Responsible. So then, and then there was one particular one that it was just automatically saved. Sure, why not? So that's the one that I got for, since we gotta go on Sunday to show the houses, we're gonna do it Saturday instead. But there's more.
Yeah, go, please go.
The conversations was kind of funny because the other one actually said to me, it was the broker. He goes, oh, you sound really good in the town, guy. Would you like to work for me today?
There you go.
I like that too.
A compliment. Absolutely.
Thank you, but no, I'm pretty good. So yeah, so
That's
funny.
awesome.
And then I had I guess the assistant that worked there called me the next day on Tuesday. I'm like, oh, thank you, that's okay.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so that was funny. It's just
That's
honest communication.
Absolutely. You know why? Because he's probably got 8 agents in his office. None of them are. They're a bunch of lazy slugs. Okay.
I've had my
Right. I mean, right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Have you been in office long enough to understand there are lazy slugs in real estate? Okay. Absolutely. Now that's positive for us because there's no competition for success. What are you guys pointing at each other?
You need to clarify and really emphasize the G in that word.
Oh! Let's get that. Let's get that back on. S-L-U-G-S. Slugs.
She started with your whiskey.
I know. That's that crew.
One more thing that's
Okay.
important.
Slug.
The people that were going out with on Sunday and Monday,
Yep.
during the open house, while we had some downtime,
Yep.
I found out what they wanted.
Hmm.
While I was there doing
Yep.
nothing, I searched the MLS.
You had an
Found
air
out what
card?
they
You had
wanted.
an air card? You had internet access?
Yes, I got my phone set up for
Thank you.
wireless.
Smart, by
And
the
I
way.
searched, I found 20 properties we looked at, found 20 properties that fit their criteria, emailed them before we even left the open house.
Bam.
And right away.
Hashtag that.
Yeah.
All right, right there. I'm just telling you guys, just like the broker recognized that she wasn't a lazy slug, right? All right? The clients recognized these gals got it going on, right? Before I even left, there's an email sitting on at home with 20 properties that fit my criteria. Wow. Guess what? Go ahead.
Another thing to do is, you're going to a 3-2 in a certain area, in a certain zone. Bring a bunch of other ones around the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Guys got it. See it? Look at that.
And,
That's absolutely.
and it's funny, but I also had an iPad. Like I said, we were learning a lot
Sure.
on our first time, but.
You were making mistakes because you were doing something, right?
But we had that MLS mobile.
Yeah.
And then what I did a radius of 5 miles around that property where we were at. So when they were saying, oh yeah, we wanted to see, and we would look it up right there, and it was just a matter of touch. So it was cute.
Here's the thing. Remember, what's the goal? When they leave, their mind is to say, I've met my last agent. Right? They walk out of that house, I've met my last agent. I don't care, my aunt's a realtor, and I'm going to use these ladies instead. All right? Because my aunt is a lazy slug. Right? Am I right?
That's the word of the day.
It is the word of the day. Okay? Up to Samuel, when I get home, the little guy we adopted from Russia, I'll have to let him know that I mispronounced the word because he likes it. Because I'm constantly helping him speak clearly, Samuel. So I'll have to say, Daddy got busted, Samuel. Daddy got busted. Yes.
I made it somewhat easy, and I emailed a lot of the REOs, and I posted on 100K who will and who won't, and why they won't, so you don't have the time to search and call them, because some of them don't call you.
Yeah.
I posted their emails.
I talked to that Tim guy, and I'm already, because we're booked, but
If you are looking for an open house, Cindy, all right, kudos to her. Great job. She put effort in and was cutting and pasting the replies she was getting from these REO agents. Ones that will, ones that won't, save you some time. That's huge. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
And on the open house signs, Ricky and I are finding, because my signs got stolen, that's why I had to do the order. And I used to take, kid you not, refocused politics signs with green poster board, bank owned, drew an arrow. Ricky and I are finding, those are driving more traffic than my printed one. So we're putting the address in the green at the bottom to drive the traffic because they're being able to see the green. It's not about pre-printed.
No.
What's on it?
It's,
Bank owned this way.
you know why? You know why you see all those yellow signs handwritten, investor special, 69.9, to be better too bad? Because somebody's infomercials told them that to handwrite signs. They studied it and they said, go for it. I don't care, go for it. Drive the traffic, right? Handwritten?
Handwritten.
Top 3.
Yeah. That's right, exactly, right. Communications pyramid, right? It's way up there. All right? Awesome. Great story, guys. I appreciate that. That is so cool because that's exactly it. But here's what the other realtors out there. Hey, it's raining. I can't come. All right? You knew. You know why you came? Why'd you come? You told me when you walk in late. How are you going to fight traffic? No electricity at your house.
Yep.
But why are you here?
Because I didn't want to see, I don't want to hear the excuses, I have electricity. I'm not gonna give that one.
It's the accountability, right? Remember the running group up in Tennessee? I looked at my thing and it was 12 degrees out there and there were 50 people that were ready to go on their run. Why? Because there were 50 people, right? And they knew that, hey, the group's counting on me. So kudos for you guys for being here. Kudos for you guys for implementing. Kudos to Cindy for helping us implement, all right, by doing the bank-owned signs and all that kind of stuff. And go do it, guys. You get out there, activity breeds activity. Stuff starts to happen. Call it karma, call it whatever you want. Get into your Zen, whatever you want to feel, all right? But the activity breeds activity. When you're sitting at home watching college football, wondering why your real estate business isn't off the ground, now you're going to know why, because there are people out there catching those clients who are your niece and nephew because you're
lazy.
slug. Okay, cool, awesome. All right, so and we're going to get good. You know what? Next time, are you going to be better at that? You got some ideas of how am I going to be better at converting my walk-in traffic? Next time, oh, if I really had this next time, you know, you guys pre-planned a lot. Had the book going, had the, you know, ready to get them stuff. But you probably need a few things all tweaked. And you get better, and you get better, and you get better, and pretty soon, it's just a machine. We talked about that cash machine in the middle that spit out 13.2. All right? Bank-owned open houses can be a cash machine that's going to spit out 100 grand a year. All right? I guarantee it. Guarantee it if you will implement. Great job. We're going to become an expert in investor buying, because that's what we did today, right? Those of you that came early, we talked about how to talk like an investor, so we already got that now. All right, bonus meeting, that is not going to be next time. I just copied and pasted the slide, obviously, from the last one, so ignore that. That's the one we already did today. All right, we're going to work first-time home buyers with vigor. Right, we love first-time home buyers. Why? Because they are loyal. They will do what you tell them to do, and they will refer the heck out of you. All right, work with first-time home buyers. Get there, do them, work them. It's so fun. All right, treat them right. Because remember I told you they're good with social media? And they'll blow you up when you're good, but guess what? Screw them, and they'll blow you up. All right? I just was listening to an audio book on the way over when I flew into Orlando yesterday. I was driving over. I just picked it up at the library. It's people love you, they'll tell 3. People hate you, they'll tell 3,000 or something like that. And we all know that concept, but it's talking about how big companies can let things get away from them. All right, meaning Dell was an example they use in the book back in that some blogger just started saying, hey, look, I had a terrible experience. They weren't responding. I had an issue and they weren't responding. Next thing you know, Dell ignored it for 3 months and it killed them because the blogosphere can go nuts. All right, nowadays, so treat people right. It's good. It can work to your benefit. It can work to your detriment if you aren't careful. So you got to treat people right. Do the right thing. All right, we're going to convert 80% of our cold call listings, and within, by the way, have you guys been on the corn planting conference call? Okay, good, awesome. Fridays, every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right, we got a corn planting where we're just sharing ideas. People are saying, hey, look, I'm struggling. I couldn't find an open house. Anybody have it? Anybody have it? It's a little jumbled because it's a conference call. Everybody's trying to yell and talk over each other and all that kind of stuff. So as difficult as it is for me to keep you guys in order when I'm in live in person, I can't reach out and wrap your knuckles on the phone. All right, so it's even more difficult there, but we keep it down. Yes?
We created a ritual. Every Friday, we meet up there at 9 a.m. and then we go to coffee.
Perfect. See, love that. That accountability. You guys are both older in the business, right? Older in the business? Look out. I'm telling you. How do you keep new people excited, new people in real estate excited about real estate? Keep them away from the old people. Right? It's the truth.
I don't know, Ricky's still excited.
What's that?
Ricky's still excited about it.
That's right, absolutely, that's true. But you know, well, the old people who are stodgy and aren't here. All right? Not you guys, not you old people. You old people got it going on, all right? But I'm just telling you, they're gonna out technology you, they're gonna hammer you, they're gonna outwork you. All right? And I'm saying you guys, and there is no competition out there. There is none.
What happened because I was seeing the little girl in the mirror.
Yeah.
And next time when we put the open house before anybody can see me, we can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's talking about the affirmation girl, that little girl that does the affirmations.
Yes, she's awesome.
Get on that Facebook group page, guys. There's good stuff to love. I love my haircut. I love my house. I can do anything. Okay? It's awesome. All right, cool. All right, so last session's assignments. This is from last time. There's just a time block one morning. I gave you little tiny baby steps. I didn't say time block 2 weeks. I said time block one morning. And what does that mean? We are going to learn to get control of our time. Because right now, if your time is controlling you, you lose. Period. All right? Get control of your time. It's so important. So important to do this. And guess what? It's being respectful when you do it. You know what I do? I'm old school. I still use a paper, in like a weekly minder. You know, one of those old school things. There you go. Okay? Has it week by week. I still use one of those things and write it down. You know what I came to do about a year ago? I put a picture of my family on the front cover because I read, where was it? I think it's Cubby. That, you know what? It's the greatest salesman in the world. One of the scrolls says, when you are undisciplined in your time, you're robbing from your family. When I allow my day to get away from me, and I come home and the boys want to play basement hockey, all right? We have basements in Florida. I mean, in Tennessee. We don't have in Florida. Florida, they're called in-ground pools. I get that, right? So, but we have a basement down there, and it's you know, kind of virtually indestructible. It's like a triplex. I told you to make my triplexes indestructible. All right, it's down there, and they love to do it. Now, if I've been undisciplined in my time, sorry guys, I can't. I got more calls to return. I got emails. Is it their fault that I was undisciplined in my day? No, I'm robbing from them. So that's why I keep a picture of them in the front of my calendar, so that I'm going to be disciplined to my calendar. Right? I'm going to live that way, because if not, I'm stealing from the people I say that I love the most. All right? I say I love the most, but my actions aren't reflecting that. So I got to make sure that I'm doing it, okay? Work on time blocking. 4 rituals. These are 4 awesome rituals, right? We've got the morning ritual, which when we get up, we're going to do our affirmations. We're going to write in our blessings book. We're going to exercise. All right, we're going to eat right, and we're going to start our day off out the door rolling. That's the morning ritual. The pre-leave ritual. Remember that one? Right, pre-leave. Before you leave the office. Let's put quotes around office. What is an office? For the most of us, it's our laptop, right? Okay? So it could be at your breakfast nook, could be at your breakfast bar, could be at Starbucks, or wherever your office is. Before you leave, the most important thing you do is you do your first and 10s for the next day. Man, those are the most important things I got to do. Take care of first thing tomorrow. You write that down. It's fresh in your mind. Read the book. If you guys haven't got the book, 7 Levels of Communication, all right, this is what we're working from. This is our Bible, for lack of a better word, okay, that we're going to follow. These are the lessons that we're following. In here, in that pre-leave ritual, we write down those first and 10s. You know why? Tomorrow when you open up your laptop and now you're back at your office, now, bam, it's there. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to rethink, oh, what was I supposed to do first thing tomorrow? Or today, which is now tomorrow, which is now today, or today, which was yesterday's tomorrow? Okay. Yeah, okay, say that. Chew on that for a bit. All right, okay, was now, I got them down. Boom, 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 I'm done. Okay, so write those down. That first and 10 is so important. Then we have the pre-sleep ritual, which is just a time that we're going to reflect a little bit. All right, meditate, pray, whatever you want to call it. And then, most importantly, one of the biggest things is the Sunday night ritual. Anybody do a Sunday night ritual this time? Anyone, you want to share anything, any aha moments?
Yeah, the aha was how little I actually share what's going to go on with my week with my partner, with my wife. And
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I should probably include you to let you know those things.
Yeah.
And what are you doing, by the way?
Right. Exactly.
And it's just that sharing of information and setting up the week and
Yep.
and it just eases tension when, you know, the other person's not going, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. How am I not involved here? What's
Yeah.
I don't know. Awesome.
And I didn't realize how little I shared
Very
about
cool.
what I needed to do so that we could, you know,
Awesome.
so
Very
that we
cool.
could plan on going golfing on Friday.
Right.
I was like, wow, I can actually do that.
Yeah. Because you can put that stuff in. Somebody posted, Manuela posted on the Facebook group page, the big rocks, putting the golf balls in first in the pickle jar. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah.
Read it. That's a great analysis of, and this is Cubby as well. Cubby teaches when in his time blocking and his time management systems, he teaches big rocks first. You put in the big rocks, things you have to get done, and then there's still room for the other stuff. But if you put the little stuff in first, then the big rocks won't fit. All right? Why watch the illustration. It's incredible. I love the when they pour the chocolate milk in. It says, "What's the purpose there?" It says, "Because no matter how busy you get, there's always time for chocolate." Right? That's awesome. I love that. All right. So, yep.
I found my daughter's been gone for 2 weeks to live with her dad, so reprogramming a teenager is difficult to do.
Yeah.
Difficult to program teenagers. But I found sitting with her on Sunday night and saying, this is mom's schedule. What do you need from mom within this schedule so that I can time block her on purpose? Or watching silly Disney movies, but that's what makes her happy.
Right.
And it's mom sitting there watching the movie with her.
Yeah.
And it's just that hour and a half that I'm sitting there and committed to whatever she wants.
Oh, come on, you wanna watch the movies.
Hey, we watched Monsters Inc. last night.
Oh, my.
Disney has a really cool perspective as an adult.
They actually do. Mike Kozlowski.
Yeah.
All right, you gotta love Mike. All right.
So
What's
it's
that?
important to time block with your kids and figure out, okay, mom has to do these things. Where do you want to fit with what they do? Obviously, with parents, so she's just gotta.
That's
I'm
awesome.
finding she's getting her schoolwork done without me bugging her. She's cooking dinner for me, and I don't have to ask her to do it. She's just getting it.
There's fun. Yeah, right. Exactly.
I know she don't like cashews, but she gotta go, she's not having mom.
Right.
She made chicken and vegetables last night.
How's it stuff?
Sure means freedom.
That's right.
Good job.
That's right. That's exactly. There's freedom and structure. Isn't that awesome?
I learned.
That's right. That's perfect. It works. There's freedom and structure. All right. And you know what? What a great life lesson you're teaching your kids. You know, get buy-in to everybody on board with this. The cool thing about a Sunday night ritual is what you do is you analyze your previous week. Okay, where did I do well? What things did I miss? What things do I need to catch up on? If I was just to do my 4 hours of power, did I only do 3.5? Now I can do an extra half hour this week. Small tweak, right? Series of small adjustments are easier than one big adjustment that never happens, right? So we're going to start to do that, and we can actually gain control and have a plan going forward for the week ahead. It's awesome. It's awesome to get it there and get going. So awesome. Good job, guys. 3 success stories. These are areas that just remember we're supposed to write things that remember when I sold the home to that first-time home buyer who did that do. You start to tell those success stories and things, it starts to feel good. Now, don't forget, the reason we're doing this, if you've read the whole book already, that he utilizes those success stories into his communication plan. It's going to be part of his drip campaign, if you will, that comes later. But I truly believe that the most powerful part of writing a success story in your own handwriting is an affirmation for you. You're reaffirming when you felt good about what you did. There's power in that, guys. You start writing a story about, hey, when I did that, it wasn't my biggest sale. And probably is usually not, right? Your success story isn't usually surrounded by around the $1.2 million. Maybe, all right? But more than that, it's probably around the $72,000 home you bought that you saved them. They were paying $1,000 a month in rent, and now you got it in for zero money down, and now they're paying $720 a month. That's powerful right there. That's the stuff that are success stories that you really feel, right? That's the sense that gets going. And
When later on, when they come to the spectrum of solutions,
yep.
I found that my success stories helped me to figure out the spectrum of solutions because that gave me other than sitting there feeling like I was creating a commercial.
Yep.
Then I went back and because that's where your strengths show up because it makes you look at what your strengths were or how you solved the problem. Then that translates into your spectrum of solutions when they get to that farther. But it's just a thought if they'll plot that away. That's what I went back to.
Great perspective there. That's so true because spectrum of solutions we're going to talk about today, that's part of this lesson, and it's basically a brochure, all right, what we used to call a brochure. Now we call it spectrum of solutions. But you're saying, hey, look, what do I provide? What are my spectrum of solutions or things that I do, right? My value add to this whole process. And sure enough, you want to add things that are of value, and when you start to write those stories, you're thinking, you know what? That was value. I was adding value when I did that. That's cool. Good for me. Pat myself on the back. All right? Nobody else will, so I will. Look out. Here we go. All right? That's awesome. Great.
I stuck with a lady that was in a short sale. It took 3 years for Bank of America to decide. She walked away with more than my commission check for we're still friends.
Awesome. That's cool. That's a great story right there, right? Feel good? Everybody's happy?
Delegate negotiation in the short sales.
Oh, yeah,
Biggest
yeah,
lesson.
exactly. Yeah. Don't negotiate short sales. Yeah, that's 101. Exactly. Awesome. Meet with your accountability partner. All right, you guys are all over that. Have an accountability partner. Meet with that accountability partner. It's not easy. All right. If you were going to be disciplined to yourself, you would have already done it. All right. So you need an accountability partner. I wrote this phrase down. Accountability breeds response ability. Your ability to respond. I'm going to throw a lot of books at you today. Here's one. This is just a bonus one. This is not an assignment, but if you're looking for a good read, okay, The Wisdom and Teachings of Stephen R. Covey. We lost Covey a couple years ago. He was 80, riding a bike in Colorado, all right, and hit his head and ended up dying from complications from that. But when you start to read Covey, there are certain people that are put here on earth that I think have a gift. All right, Max Lucado is one. If you're looking for some stuff, a guy who has a talent to write beyond your imagination to help you understand deep thoughts. Covey's one of these guys. All right, I had Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's his most famous book. We've all heard of that. All right, had it on my shelf for 10 years. Thought I'd read it. If I did, I didn't read it. All right, I reread it about a year and a half ago, and it blew me away. There's some stuff in here. Jeanette found this book at the library, so she went and bought one, and then we were fighting over who got to read it, so I went back to the library and got it. So she has the one we bought, and I'm utilizing the one from the library right now, so I can't highlight, so I have to put little stickies in.
What's the name of it again?
The Wisdom and Teachings of Stephen R. Covey. Oh, it's a compilation from his books. All right, a lot of it coming from there. I'll read you a couple. There's some stuff that you can chew on. How about this one? He's talking about choice. He hasn't broken down, they have it broken down in different sections. The power to choose. Covey's big on the power to choose. One of his famous things is, between stimulus and response is a space. Okay? The thing that differentiates us from animals is what we do with the space. Animals react, right? They're instinctively, they just go, all right? God has put on us, humans, the ability to, when we do it, okay, where's the mirror that I get to teach in, right? When I do it, to slow it down enough to take advantage of that space between stimulus, before I respond, to think, okay? And say, how are my decisions and actions right now going to play out 3 minutes from now, 30 seconds from now? Okay, because I don't even think along that long enough sometimes. Slow it down. Check this out. I am not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. That's, you start, some of these books, you're like, wow, yeah, that's great. I don't like that. There's too much truth in some of this stuff, right? And look out when your spouse gets hold of the same book. Katie bar the door, right? We start talking about things like this back and forth, and there's powerful things that are just, back on that same page, we got to read this too. Okay? Let's talk about the power to choose. Because you know what? He starts telling you this stuff, and it's not an easy read, because you know what he's telling you? As much as the world has told you, hey, you can't blame yourself, your parents beat you, your parents did that, Well, guess what? That maybe we all come from different areas and different life experiences, but at the end of the day, all right, if I really want to improve my situation, I can work on the one thing over which I do have control, myself. Hate that, man. You know what I mean? Because I can't place the blame anywhere else now. All right, it's all on me. Read that. There's great stuff. One last one I got to read with you, because this is the one that Jeanette and I got to chew on for a while. The ability to subordinate an impulse. Okay, subordinate. Everybody with me. The ability to subordinate an impulse to a value is the essence of a proactive person. The ability to subordinate, push down aside, an impulse, my natural tendency, to a value. Here's how I want to be. Okay, to subordinate that impulse and say, no, I'm going to do what I want to be, not what I naturally am inclined to do. is the very essence of a proactive person. That right there, I'm telling you, this stuff, you don't read this in like, oh, that was cute, all right? That's not cute, that's deep, all right? Okay, so just be prepared for that and start digging into that. It's awesome. Okay, so that's where I got that quote, all right? It's in that. Decide where you're going to tithe. Remember, this is one of our assignments. Decide where we're going to tithe and donate our 4 hours of volunteer time each month. All right? Hope Children's Home Challenge. Here's the challenge I've been giving out to you. There's a guy, James Saffel, used to be with Future Home, now he's with Keller Williams up in Spring Hill. I introduced him to Hope Children's Home. Hope Children's Home is a privately funded, no government dollars orphanage and school. They serve about 100 kids at any given time. No paperwork involved. It's not this county bureaucracy. All right, people come, say, I can't take care of my kids anymore. They say, we'll take them. Awesome. Totally privately funded. They've been in operation for about 28 years, and they opened their doors and didn't have any idea how they were going to do it. And people have come in. Sun Toyota buys their milk. Their employees of Sun Toyota buy their milk every year for the whole year. You need milk, you call Sun Toyota, and we'll show up with more milk. All right. Right now they have a thing out there where they're challenging. They have needs for gift cards, Publix, Target, Walmart, because they got to pay for all these kids everything. Okay. Incredible. You know what? Future Home Realty, November, we're working to finalize it. It's going to have our office meeting there, because we have our office meeting there, and then we get to do a tour afterwards and they show you what they do. The first time I toured there, they have 8 hookups, like slips for RVs. And it was like in the middle of July and they were all empty. And I said, what are those? You know, those look like they're hookups for, campers and stuff. He goes, yeah. He said, you know what we decided to do? We know people come down here for winter and they go and they pay for someplace. We have the land, so why decided, why don't we put these in? Now these people come, they hook up for free, but they're all retirees, retired electricians and plumbers and workmen, and the wives mend the clothes, the husbands work on our facilities, and it's just incredible, man. It gives you chills because it's almost like Walnut Grove, right? Remember I talked about one of my famous quotes is, the world would be all the better if we lived like Laura Ingalls, right? If we lived like Little House on the Prairie, when a barn burned down, did we call FEMA, come in? No, right? What did we do? We all got together as a community and we fixed the barn. We had a barn raising, right? When things happened, Nashville, 2010. You guys remember the great flood in Nashville in 2010? No, you don't, because we didn't whine and complain about it for 15 years like they're doing in New Orleans. All right? We just fixed it. The community came together. We fixed it and got it done. All right? That's what happens. I mean, half of the LP field, which is the football stadium, was filled with water. Okay? But you never heard about it. You didn't know about it. We had devastation all over the place. The water receded. People came in. We fixed it. We moved on and said, okay, let's go. All right? What's next? Okay, it's just, that's the way life ought to be, right? So, here's the cool thing about donating money, tithing money. Here's the good thing about this. You can give and you can control where you give, right? I flew into Orlando yesterday. I beat feet over here because I wanted to get through downtown Tampa before Yahoo came to town. All right? Okay. Remember our esteemed leader, the leader of the free world, was rolling into town, and guess what happens when he rolls into town?
Streets shut down.
Everything shuts down, right? So, with that in mind, by the way, I got one word for you, or a couple words for you. Go to meeting. Okay? Technology is a pretty amazing thing. Why can't you just go do your fundraising thing via satellite link without costing me $4 million to fire up Air Force One? But that's every president, by the way, not just our current president. That's every president. All right? What's that? Yeah, Dave Ramsey for president. Right? He'll get us out of debt.
But don't the 7 levels of communication?
What's that?
7 levels of communication?
Well, sure, exactly. When it's your own money, go for it. When it's my money, don't go for it. Okay? I'm with you. All right? And you're right, and I understand you 100%. But the problem exists that I scrimped and saved and worked hard and put in my budget, and my family and I went to Martha's Vineyard this summer. Okay? It was awesome. We rented a house for a week on Martha's Vineyard, never been. It was great. We got to do it. It was awesome. It was a week before our esteemed president got to go. And of course, they were digging trench lines on the house that he was going to do, Verizon lines. They had, put all new cabling in and all this kind of stuff because he's the leader of the free world. I get it. That's fine. Problem is, I said, wasn't he here? And I asked the guy working, I said, wasn't he here like 2 years ago? Oh yeah, but he stayed at a different house. Okay, so we're redigging all new trench lines? Okay, that's fine if I've got $4 billion extra every day coming into the coffers. We don't, all right? I'm just telling you, I mean, it's not political one party over the other. I'm just telling you, they all do it. They're spending money we don't have. That being said, when you give money to a nonprofit, give to somebody who's going to be a good steward of the money you give. Are you with me? That's all I'm saying. Is that the cool thing is you can check them out. All right? Say, hey, look, am I going to give money to a place where the actual money is going to help the people that need the help? All right? Not, let me give you, over there on, I can't remember where it is. Where's the Salvation Army? They just built a brand new headquarters over there in kind of the New Tampa area. Yeah, off of Van Dyke. Beautiful. Okay? Too beautiful, maybe? I don't know. Does headquarters need Italian marble? Are you with me? All right. Should that money maybe not be going to the people who need Salvation Army's help? Not just so that the CEO of Salvation Army has, you know, a 3/4 panorama view of the Tampa skyline. I don't know. All right. It's my own theory. All right. Live the way you want to live. Get where you want to get. All right. Oh, Hope Children's Challenge. I'm challenging you. You know what? Check out Hope Children's Home. I'm challenging you to give a gift card. $25. All right, look up Hope Children's Home. I'm challenging you because James Saville challenged us, so I'm passing on the challenge. All right, I'm buying my $100 gift card already to go. All right, share successes and challenges on your Facebook group page. Go to that Facebook group page. Go to that Facebook group page. Did I tell you to go to the Facebook group page? Okay, go to that. I'm just telling you, there's great information there. Tons of good stuff. People sharing stuff back and forth. October 14th, Michael Mayer's coming to town. All right, the author of the book that we're reading is coming to town. Get your ticket. It's free. GinGinTampa.com. It's at the Safety Harbor Resort and Spa. Starts at 2 o'clock. Go before. You know what? Go do a little half spa day. Come to the event with those little foamy things that go between your toes. I see you guys walking around. You guys get pedicures. I see them walking around. They got a robe on. And they got these funky looking slippers on. And they got foam between their toes. I've never had a pedicure, but I'll get one day. All right? But maybe it'll be that day. Maybe that'll be the day. I'll come walking in with my foam between my toes as well. Oh, it's only painted. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I don't know. I can get a little. What's the French one that has little white tips on the end? Exactly. I can do that. All right. Okay. All right. I can do it. All right. See, I'm secure enough in my manhood that I can get a pedicure and be fun. And wear my t-shirt. And wear my t-shirt. Exactly. All right. I'm okay with that. All right. October 14th, come and bring 2 people to see the Michael Mayer event. When I say bring 2 people, it's free. Why? Bring some of your ambassadors. Bring somebody who's starting up their own tutoring business. Hey, you know what? This is great for them. You'll learn all the concepts you need to really dig deeper with a few rather than shallow with many. You start to help them learn concepts that are going to build their business, they're going to be forever friends. Right? All right? BFF or whatever we do. Okay? Got it? Cool. I'm going to share this slide real quick because this is one of my favorites. Why do we do our Sunday night ritual? Because we are going to do a check. We are going to constantly monitor our progress. Remember, we're not going to wait 6 months to monitor progress. Like a trip to the moon when they do it real often, all right? We're going to do it a lot more often. I mean, we're going to make small little adjustments along the way rather than have to get to one big adjustment we can't make. You with me? So that's why we check it out and say, ooh, I was a little off. I only did 1 open house and I had scheduled 2, but people wanted to see property, so it got in the way. That's cool, but I don't have as many in the pipeline right now, so I got to be honest with myself. I don't have as many in the pipeline, so maybe I need to do a Thursday afternoon drive time open house. Give it a shot. Try it out. See what happens. Who knows? All right? Pick up that extra buyer. I'm 1 buyer short of where I'm supposed to be. That's good. Being 1 buyer short is easy to pick up. Being 52 buyers short on December 27th is not easy to make the adjustment, right? So we're going to make those small adjustments along the way. All right. Okay. Then we get into coaching session 3. All right. So in the book, he starts the disc profile. You guys ever heard the disc profile? All right. You guys have followed this board. It's been around a long time, right? He covers it in the book. Does a great job because it's not only knowing who we are, but how we are going to react to other people. All right. You want to give people the platinum rule we're going to talk about in a second is we want to treat people the way they want to be treated. The golden rule says treat people the way I want to be treated. That's very myopic. All right? I'm going to treat you the way you want to be treated. That's the platinum rule. This profile, remember, we got high Ds, which are dominant, straight to the point. got high I's, which are influenced, highly social people, like to party, all right? By the way, come to the Tuesday night session. Those people, look at the post already this morning. They won, what they won, what day?
Some trivia thing.
Yeah, they won trivia at Applebee's after the event. They went out to Applebee's, and they were called the Realty Chicks, was their group name, all right, because they all hung out there in Realty Chicks, and they kept getting called the Reality Chicks, all right, because they were mispronouncing it. But a bunch of high I's in that group, by the way, all right, so go hang with them, all right? They're highly social. S's are steadies, they're nurturing, they're caring, they want structure, that's very important. And high C's, those are your CPAs, those are your engineers. I want spreadsheets, show me, just real, I want compliance, all right? Do you remember the example he gives in the book? He gives him an assignment, says, okay, quick, on the fly, sell me this home like you were selling to a D. And he on the fly, remember Rick had to come up with his examples of how he was gonna, hey, tell a D that he just found a home that's perfect for him. All right, and that's different. High D, he was saying, he was straight to the point. Hey, I got it. Has the price per square foot we want. It's in the area you want to be. Call me. That's a high D, right? The high I, man, you're not going to believe it. It's on a cul-de-sac. We can shut down the street and have the massive Ketter raging party every, a quarterly party. This is perfect for you. That you're going to love it. The kids are going to be able to play soccer out in the street and everything. That's a high I, right? Same house. We're going to talk to them in a different way. We're going to talk to them the way they want to be talked to. All right? S's, nurturing, caring. Hey, look, cul-de-sac, it's very safe. There's not a lot of through traffic. Your kids can play out there. It'll be perfect for the kids. They can play kickball out there. It's just what you're looking for. That's how you sell that same house, right? That's on the cul-de-sac to the high S. And then the C is probably that just, hey, you know what? I ran it. We are 72 cents under the average sale price per square foot in the neighborhood over the last 6 months. Right? You start talking the details to them. Bam, has exactly what you want. I went over and measured it, and remember we talked about? Guess what? The extra bedrooms aren't just 12 by 12, they're 12.8 by 13.2. Wow, you know what I mean? That's what I'm just telling you, right? So you give them what they want, all right? And the platinum rules, you treat them the way they want to be treated. Reread that stuff if you haven't read that already. All right? Discovery quote, I love this one. Care like everyone's an S, smile like everyone's an I, prepare like everyone's a C, like you better be ready with that. Is it 13.2 really? All right, or is it 12.8? Don't lie to me. Sell like everyone's a D. All right, be prepared to do all that kind of stuff. Coaching session 3, spectrum. Deanne touched on it. Spectrum of solutions. We used to call it a brochure, right? In the old days. By the way, what do they do with anything you hand them? Throw it away. Everybody got that? Everybody admit that right now. Raise your right hand. All right. I know. Yeah, repeat after me. I know. I know. Anything I hand them is going to end up in the trash. Everybody got that? Okay. So, knowing that going forward, you're not disappointed when you go over their house and it's not prominently displayed on the refrigerator. Okay? It's not going to happen. So, don't expect it. But why do we have it then? Because there are some people who won't do business with you unless you have something like that. They may throw it away still, but they may not be prepared to do business with you unless you have one of those. All right? Plus, the process of creating it, as Deanne discovered, is actually helping her reaffirm what she does. All right? Yeah, I do add value to that. So begin to work on that spectrum of solutions. By the way, there are examples. This is a huge resource. 7lbook.com/resources. Michael Mayer has poured a ton of stuff in. By the way, one more reason to follow the Facebook group page is because the author of the book that we're reading follows our Facebook group page. All right? He posts stuff in there. He'll like your comments. He'll do all sorts of neat stuff. All right? He'll just have great little teaching blurbs fired in there. The guy lives what he's talking about in this Gen. One-on-one meetings. All right? Pat, I'm with you 100%. All right? One-on-one meetings are the highest level. Where is the one-on-one meeting in the communication pyramid? Very top. It is the apex. It is where you want to be. It is where business is going to happen. It's where you are going to drive relationships home. Bam. All right? One-on-one. I like to call it this. Eyeball to eyeball, meatball to meatball. All right? When I'm breaking bread with people across the table for them, man, from them, and you know what? It's different than even being on the phone with them. Am I right? Okay? And Pat, to your point, yes, it is different than doing a go-to-meeting, all right? And I'm with you 100%. So here we go, one-on-one, eyeball to eyeball, meatball to meatball. And what is our goal there at that one-on-one meeting? Anybody remember?
Frog.
Fraud. Look at that. Just cheat and see. Fraud. Family, recreation, occupation, goals, right? If it's somebody we already know, and that's if somebody, hey, look, we're just establishing a relationship with them, you fraud them, right? Family, recreation, let me get to know you. Family, recreation, what are your, by the way, Michael will teach in his live event. It doesn't really cover it so much in the book, but in the live event, he always covers the fact that your people that are going to be your best ambassadors are goal-oriented people. Other people that have goals tend to get the concept of reciprocity with the generosity. All right? Goal-oriented people, slugs don't get that. So don't pour your effort and time into pouring massive value into slugs. Plus, it makes for a long lunch anyway. Right? Why go, and by the way, does it have to be lunch? I say eyeball, eyeball, meatball to meatball. Could it be eyeball to eyeball, cafe latte to cafe latte? Yeah. Could it be eyeball to eyeball, iced tea to iced tea? Right? Okay, what's that?
Martini to
Martini, all right? So let's go there, all right? I'm with you. Okay. Rain makes corn. All right. And so, yes, so absolutely. So that's where that's the most powerful impact is there. Because you're going to frog them, but as you get to know them, you're going to ask them, what's their biggest challenge? If you get this line out right here, okay? Hey, before we go, can I ask you, what's your biggest challenge right now? Because can I tell you what? Anybody who's invited them to lunch in the past, or coffee in the past, or martinis in the past, all right, has ended that conversation with, and they're sitting waiting for the hammer to drop. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Here it. By the way, you or anybody you know looking to buy or sell real estate in the next 6 months, I knew it was coming. I knew there was an agenda behind their meeting me. That's what they're expecting. I'm telling you this, right? They're expecting you to say, hey, look, now that I got you here, the reason I called you together, right? The reason for our meeting is, what can you do for me? Instead, you're going to reverse that. You remember back in the book, let's take ourselves back. Remember, Rick gets invited to lunch by Michelle, right? And Rick's waiting for the hammer to drop. He's kind of taking it all in, how she's got her networking stack going on. He didn't know that was called at the time, but she's watching her do it, right? And then he says, he asks, hey, look, what can I do for you? Let me just beat you to the punch. Well, what can I, you looking for mortgages? You looking for my buyer referrals? What can I do for you? Instead, she goes, let me flip that around, Rick. What's your biggest challenge right now? And he was floored by that. It took him aback. All right? What's, that's different. Well, what do you mean? Because remember, our goal is to, first of all, he talks about matching the pace of conversation. I'll cover that point in a second. All right? End with, how can I help you, or what can I do for you? Because your goal is to end with an assignment to be completed, an action item. Hey, you know what? Well, my biggest challenge is, my son just started 6th grade, and that's a totally different ballgame. He's struggling a little bit, and he's bringing home math problems I can't even recognize. You know what? I've got this great lady, Tanya Morningstar. She just started her own tutoring company. Let me hook you up with her. I know she's just getting started. Maybe she can really hook you up with some good stuff. Bam! I've got, you know what? When I get home, I don't have her number right here. When I get home, let me email you her information. Action item. Boom. Here's the generosity cycle. It's in the book, right? Remember the circle? Okay? Generosity breeds reciprocity. Reciprocity breeds referrals. Referrals breed profitability. Profitability breeds prosperity. And prosperity allows you to be even more generous. And the cycle begins all over again. But it all starts with you throwing massive generosity first, right? And then they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that, but here's some back. And they throw it back at you. Because generosity always breeds reciprocity. As long as you're dealing with goal-oriented non-slugs, right? long as you're dealing with those kind of people. All right? If you're dealing with a taker, hey, I'll take it, all right? Then it's not going to do you any good. You're not going to get the reciprocity, and that's cool. Don't spend your time with them. That's why he tells you to grade your database, A, B, C's, and D's, right? All right, so you're going to pour your time in to people who deserve to be time poured into them. Are you with me? Cool, all right? F-bomb, follow up. After you leave that one-on-one meeting, write a hand personal note. Hey, it was great doing it. By the way, here's the name of that bot. I emailed you as well, but in case you lost the email, here's the name of her, that tutor you were looking for. P.S. It's always great to see you. Give me a call sometime again. I'd love to get together and we'll work that back. Boom. It's not P.S. if you're anybody looking to buy or sell real estate. They don't want to hear that from you. All right? They don't. They know you're in real estate. You don't have to tell them. Okay? 7-week series of note cards, emails, direct mail, phone calls. He covers that in that lesson. Go back and reread it. It's all around page 70 something. All right? Go back and reread that stuff. Use your success stories, all right, and in your direct mail and your spectrum of solutions as you're beginning to develop that. Never use the term referral, all right? You can still get a referral without asking for a referral, and what you're asking for are, what's the words he uses? Introductions and connections. Hey, maybe could you connect me with somebody that, you know, I've been looking to get into, now that I've given you massive value. Hey, I know you work at Tech Data. Do you have any contacts there, like in the HR department? All right, could you connect me with, not could you refer me to the HR director so that I can sell a lot of homes? Right? Hey, could you connect me with? All right, do you have any, you know, anybody you could hook me up with? Could you introduce me to that HR director sometime? Do you happen to know? Could you kind of pave that road? Remember the Triangle of Trust? That same book I was listening to on CD said that, let me ask you this. Do you know that rating sites are going ballistic right now? Jeanette will not go on a trip without checking TripAdvisor. Period. If you don't get a good rating on TripAdvisor, we aren't going. Okay, we're not using your hotel, we're not using your service, we're not using your sailing company while we're in Martha's Vineyard, none of it. All right? You're just not doing it. All right? TripAdvisor is, because you know what that's called? Consumer to consumer. It's not business to consumer. Let me tell you how great our company is. Whatever, all right? I want to hear what the consumer says about your company, not what you say about your company. You start to develop powerful ambassadors that are going consumer to consumer about you, look out. Game over, right? Consumer to consumer about you, and that's where virality, is that a word? Help me out. Things go viral. Virality? Okay. It is now. You say it 3 times, and 3 times it's a magic, and then it becomes a word. Virality, virality, virality. Now it is. All right, good. Okay? That's where things can go viral, is if consumers start talking to consumers. Are you with me? Can you imagine? You get a series of just 12 people blowing up their Facebook or their social media about how great you are. It's over. It's over, people. You don't need a bus bench. You don't need a billboard. You don't need to rent the most expensive, or at least the most expensive Jaguar in the world. You can ride a bike, all right, and show up, right, to your thing, and make that your differentiator, right? And Pat talked about she uses bikes on her note cards because that's what people get to know her. That's awesome. That's so cool. Really is. All right? Okay, good. Those are all the, go back and reread that. You guys know this, beginning to see the patterns here? Those of you who've been around a little bit? We did an introduction. Then the first one we covered coaching lesson 1. Then the next one we covered coaching session 2 in the book. And then the third one now we just covered coaching session 3. What do you think is coming next? You guys are bright, you know? I'm telling you. I used to tell them all the time. Growing up, I was so bright. My mom called me son. You like that one, don't you? Yeah, exactly. See? All right. Okay. That's right, exactly. So, all right. So, okay, so be proactive and start to look ahead in the book. If you haven't got the book, all right, get it. All right, so here's my commitment to you. We're into the long haul. We got 3 more sessions after this one. We got 3 more. Bring passion, thoughtfulness to every event. We're going to cast a vision. We're going to respect your opinions and feedback. We're going to get it. What does get it mean? It means that I'm going to listen to you and understand, hey, you know what? I'm with you. That's awesome. All right? I remember when I did that. But I'm not going to try and tell you how to exactly do a bank-owned open house when I haven't done one in 6 years. All right? Who am I to tell you what the consumer today is asking for when I haven't done one in 6 years myself? All right, I'm going to listen to that feedback. Trust me, I was with brokers in the past that hadn't sold in 48 years, and they're trying to tell me how to sell real estate. It's like, dude, we have computers now. All right, you understand that? Huh? Ah! Computer! Ah! You know, go out and sell and give me 40% of your commission. Yeah, have a great day. All right, I'm out of it. All right, so you're going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. You're going to hold you to your commitments, which include, remember, these are your commitments, right? That you're going to be willing to change. You're going to be honest and accountable. You're not going to lie to yourself or others or your accountability partner. You're going to agree to read 1 book a month. You're going to get 8 hours of sleep a night. Right? Some of you are doing it. What's that? That's hard. I know. It's easier to cardiovascular 30 minutes a day than it is to get 8 hours of sleep. You want it, man. I'm telling you. There's part of you that craves it. I'm telling you.
Work out and you'll get it.
There you go. Agree to perform 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise 3 days a week. Some of you, that's way too low. I get it, all right? So just keep it up, all right? Keep up what you're doing. Volunteer at a nonprofit 4 hours a month. What does it have to do with selling real estate? Nothing but everything, all right? You start to give of yourself, get outside yourself. The next thing, call it karma, call it what you will, call it God's will, call it whatever you call it works, all right? I'm just telling you. Donate 10% of your income to a church, synagogue, or other nonprofit. Worship once a week, preferably at a corporate worship setting. All right? If you're de-churched, I get it. That's cool. I'm with you. There's a lot of reasons to be de-churched. There are a lot of bad churches out there. You know why? Because churches are filled with people. All right? And ever since there's a story that happened way back in Genesis, all right? The serpent came along, they ate the apple, and things went from really good to really bad in a hurry. All right, and since then, it's been a series of bad, quite frankly. All right, and it's not going to get any better for a while. So with that being said, all right, let's go hang out with people that are trying to get better, that are like-minded, whatever that may be. All right, if you're a universalist and you love to go sit amongst the trees and sit in a yoga-style position and go for it, go for it. That's great. Go hang out with those people, like-minded people. All this is going to require discipline. So here's our assignments. All right, coming up. I'll post these on the Facebook group page as well. Because you're all following them, right? Did I tell you about the Facebook group page? No. Okay. All right. Affirmations. The greatest salesman in the world has scrolls. Those scrolls will blow your mind. That's the book we just got done reading, Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. Incredible scrolls. All right? Reread those. Make those your affirmations. Blessings book. Your referral goal on your mirror, your computer, your office. Remember, we don't set sales goal? All right? This year, I want to give out 100 referrals and receive 50. That's my goal. What's your goal for this year? What's your goal for this month? I want to give out 20 referrals and receive 10. All right? That way it rolls through. Physical fitness or eating right. Meet with your accountability partner. Begin your spectrum of solutions. Just begin to formulate that. Go to the 7lbook.com/resources. See some examples. Brian Heckman has some templates that he's put out of a spectrum of solutions. Have a one-on-one meeting. Go eyeball to eyeball, meatball to meatball with somebody. Doesn't matter. And at the end, what are you going to do? Anybody know the question?
What are your challenges?
What's your biggest challenge right now? Great job. All right? What's your biggest challenge right now and how can I help? All right? If you could just find one defining need, one biggest challenge right now, what would it be? Boom. All right? Tell me. You win when that stuff happens. 2 books. I'm going to give you a whole month and a half to read, 6 weeks. 2 books. Some of you may have read them. You need to reread them. One's called The Richest Man in Babylon. George Clason. Clason. I don't know his name. How do you pronounce it? C-L-A-S-O-N. All right, please. Okay? C-L-A-S-O-N. George Clason. We'll go with that. The Richest Man in Babylon. Incredible story. Another allegory of a guy in Babylon who got in debt and had to work his way out. Guess what? In Babylon, when you got in debt, you became a slave. Okay? Talk about debtor's prison. They understood that concept. They didn't just file Chapter 11. Okay, when they got in debt back then. There was no Chapter 11. They threw you in jail and or you became a slave. Incredible book. This is the book, remember back in the day when people would walk into my bank-owned open houses and or call me. I ran an ad later on that said, stop renting, buy for little or no money down, payments less than rent. People would call me, I'd get them checked out with a lender they couldn't buy. All right? credit trashed, everything else. I said, you know what, I can help you. I'll put you into my group that I'll work through and help you get to a point where maybe 6 months, 8 months, a year from now you can buy. All right, that sounds great. That sounds great. I can do it. You got me. I'm your guy. I'm in. I said, great. Go get a copy of this book, read it, and call me back. That was my litmus test. I'm not going to work with slugs. I'm going to work with people who wanted my help. All right? They called me back a week later. I read it. I said, great. I asked them 3 questions. You didn't read it. All right, call me back when you read it. I would. I'm not going to work with people who don't want my help. You know what I mean? If they weren't going to be willing to spend $7.99, all right, to buy this and go read it, then guess what? They can go work with somebody else. Have a great day. I got other people. All right, because I'm going to meet 30 more people tomorrow. All right, you only met 8, but that's because you didn't have bank foreclosure. You put bank foreclosure in the cap. All right, so that's the first one. Second one, The Legend of the Monk and the Merchant. Incredible book. Some people, this is the whole concept here. Some people were put on earth to become monks. Some people were put on earth to become merchants. We each need each other. The monk needs the merchant. All right? Because you know that monasteries don't just exist, they actually take money to run. All right? And they need merchants giving them money who believe in their work. Monks need merchants, merchants need monks. Incredible story of 2 friends and how one became each. Incredible there. Cool? All right? Those are, by the way, you have until the end of October to read those. Don't forget about the Michael Merrick. All right? October 14th, gingintampa.com. And these are the wrong dates, so don't write them down. Here are the right dates. Ready? Write these down. 10-9. 10-9. Which is, you have those on the right one?
These are correct on one.
Okay, okay, good. So at least the online one's going to be correct. You guys are here live. Don't pay attention. 10-9, which is a Thursday. Okay? We're switching up on you again because the room availability, we had to switch around. 10-9 is Thursday. 10-21 is back to a Tuesday. Right? 11-6 is a Thursday. And then really, now I'm going to throw you off. Ready? 11-17. Monday. You know, that's because we got to get done before Thanksgiving. We got to get done before Thanksgiving.
Is there a Tuesday night on 11/18 by any chance?
Yes, the Tuesday nights in Tampa at the Hilton Garden Inn on Oldsmar, those are Tuesday nights consistently. So the same week that we just talked about there, that Tuesday night is always going to be in Tampa.
I'm not coming back from New Orleans.
Okay, very good. Nor should you. Awesome. Everybody got those? 10-9, 10-21, 11-6, 11-17. All right? So we got 4 more sessions left.
Those are all here at 10.
All here, 10 o'clock.
You're not doing the 9:15 anymore?
Not doing the 9:15 unless we have some. That was just ones we wanted to get that investor stuff in. Okay? If we might have one coming up on why you incorporate. All right? Why you should have PA behind your name. All right? Because that's what we teach that class. So we may incorporate that into a prior to, or we may just do our own on that. So we'll keep you posted on that. I'll check the Facebook group page. Is that the Facebook group? Okay. All right. Facebook group page. Any questions I can answer for you? Conference call Friday. Don't forget. Bring friends. By the way, congratulations again for being here on a wet day. All right. Seriously, wasn't easy here. Deanne.
I know that I shared this on Tuesday a couple weeks ago when I was there, and that's normally where I'm at, but I just want to give you an update. Today, I'm on day 29 of my affirmation, and just to share with you all, because it's made such a difference for me, I made a commitment to write down my blessings, and there's 5 that I think encompass everything, and then I wrote down the affirmations of what I wanted things to be. And there's 14 of them, and I've added 2 in the last 30 days. But I made a commitment to myself that I was going to not just stand there and say that, but I was going to write them out every single day for 30 days.
Wow.
And tomorrow's day 30. And I'm here to tell you, not only if I started right now, could I sit here and say them to you, but it has made a difference in my personal concept of myself, what I see, and my accountability to myself. Because one of them is I'm respected by my peers in the world of real estate. So the the way that I treat other agents, even that would show my listing or, you know, whatever, that's in my head. And so it starts to take effect. Your brain cannot go opposite of what you implant consistently in there. It will work. My workouts, I'm just saying, I just challenge you. If it's 5 affirmations and 5 blessings, whatever it is for you, mine is 5 blessings and it was 14, now it's 16 affirmations. Every day for 30 days, read them out loud, say it out loud, and write it, and then read it again.
Share that on the group, because there's not enough of that type of stuff going on.
It's made a difference for me. Because
Share your affirmations, even some of them or all of them, whatever you're comfortable with, because I think the group as a whole needs those kinds of stories published there too.
I agree 100% because, you know, guys, right, she's hitting the nail on the head. There is a reason why they don't assign you to write them out for the sake of giving you something to do, right? Watching yourself write things out drives it home. Drives it home. That's why reading a book is so powerful. There are things that even when I'm reading, as compared to just thinking about the concept, or hearing it on a show or something, reading the book, my mind will flash to pages in books. When I'm faced with certain instances, and your mind flashes to your own handwriting. When you are given a choice to be a proactive member of the real estate community, or whatever that affirmation is, I don't want to put bad words in your mind, but whatever that is, all right? Your mind, when you're given a choice between stimulus and response, that space, it's going to flash back to your journal. Bam! I'm a proactive, respected member of the real estate community, so I'm going to react this way.
Right.
It will change you. Huge. All right? Now, again, this is not, I get, all right? People say, well, Coldwell Banker, they teach us how to do a listing presentation. We do those, we are the best, Coldwell Banker's the best. Right? Okay? Are you with me? Yeah. It's on video. He's got it on video. All right. But you know what? That's not it anymore. It's not. Your clients want authentic you. You know what I mean? And they're going to list with you because you're a proactive, respected member of the real estate community, because you are attracting that. Not because you've been taught some spiel to say, right? And some little glitzy PowerPoint to give in their listing presentation. They're buying you. And and because of that, you've got to believe in you.
And it helps that.
It does.
When you stand there, and I don't, you know, normally I have my glasses on and I have a partial. So I don't have my partial in, and I'm saying, not that you can tell if I didn't, but anyway, not that bad, but anyway, but I mean.
Well, I love the information weekly. That's why you come to the line. Right, get all sorts of information.
But what I'm saying, I mean, so what I'm trying to say is, it's not like a polished thing. It's just standing there. And one of mine is, I serve my clients with excellence. Well, as I was doing this over this, I started thinking, what is excellence? Define that to yourself again. That's too broad. What is excellence? Now, so when I say I serve it with excellence, now I think about, and I start thinking about, on my listing the other day, one of them works retail, so I called her, and the husband was coming home, gonna get the dogs, blah, 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 and I'm like, did you clean up your room? And she's like, oh my God, no. And I'm like, okay. So I'm over there folding her laundry, making her bed, shoving it in drawers that I just told her, I said, I put all of it in the top drawer. But that to me was over and above and so that's what excellence is to me. That's what they needed.
Yep.
And I took some chocolates and some bottled water. One of the agents left a note saying how nice they thought that was that we did that. And the other one, which we are now under contract with, said to me, my clients thought that was so cool that you had chilled water and chocolate candy there. Yeah.
Did you even know? How do they know it's for them? Just their own house?
Because I put it on the little bar in the kitchen, the countertop right there, on the, whatever, their kitchen's open, so there's like one of those bars, so when you walk by, it's very obvious. And the one day too, I put like the disclosures and the brochure on the house right in. I made like, here's the
That's a great idea.
Something selling, we had cookies
Yeah,
and chilled water, and when the kids came in and stuff, when that, you know,
Absolutely.
we offered to the kids.
why do you think Publix gives a free cookie to the kids when they go? Because maybe we're going shopping. Are we going to Publix? We going to Publix, Mom? Are we going to Publix? Hello? All right.
And we put it all together, the business cards, we handed it over.
Awesome.
and we just buttoned up.
Awesome, and thank you so much for sharing. And please do keep me posted. Just, yeah.
And I just, when I feel like I'm trying to, I would have to say it's probably the first time in my life that I was at a point where I've read millions of books and I've done things and I've been good at some things and not other things. But I made a decision that I was going to attack this systematically. What that meant, and I am not a systems person, but I do know it takes systems for success. It takes discipline. That's the one I added. I'm disciplined, organized, and focused. And you know what? That's my biggest weakness. Because I just see it go out here and, God, let's stop at the mall.
Right.
You know, squirrel. I mean, right. I am very easily distracted. Very easily. I'm not lazy, but I'm easily distracted. And so that's when I just said, I have to start. When I started to put that in my mind, I started saying, I have to take that and put it in my mind. So now when I look and there's paperwork on my desk, I think, you know what, I really need to get this organized because otherwise somebody's gonna call me and I'm gonna be going, oh, I printed off this listing, there's 5 of them here, no, I've got them.
Awesome.
Good.
I'm
That's
a work in
beautiful.
progress.
That, aren't we all?
Yes, I love what she's talking about, what she does, because the newer agents that are on the site can glean from what she's
Sure.
done,
Yeah.
because they aren't creative. I'm one of those that's not creative, so I mean,
Right.
I'll,
And
well, wow, it's easy to remember, but the
Sure.
chocolates,
Yeah. It's above and
I love
beyond.
that.
That's excellent service, but that's because her affirmation told her that she provides excellent
Right, so
service.
you start thinking, what is
Right.
excellence? How can I be excellent to them? What can I do? Your brain, it's an amazing thing to
Yep.
me.
Untapped.
Brian Pepin will post certain things about what type of CRMs are people using, that type of thing, to get an idea of what people are using.
Yep.
Maybe this could be a topic of something, just like, what is your definition of excellence, to see what other agents put within the club, just to kind of
Absolutely.
spit it out there to do your own thing.
Perfect. That's the stuff we're on, that's the stuff we want on this page, right? Remember, we're not promoting our own listings, right, anymore? You put a kibosh on that, you know, right? You had to kick a couple people out of the group who were just there to kind of troll for, hey, which good spot for, you know what? So, that kind of stuff, that's awesome. Your stories, that kind of stuff needs to go on that group page. People can glean and get encouragement from that. That's the reason it's there. Awesome. Cool. Everybody good? Rain stop. Good time to get out. All right. All right. Awesome. Don't forget the dates change up. We'll post on there. Don't forget your assignments. Grab those books. Start reading and go for it. And I expect to be on your bike next time. Rain or shine. All right. Okay. Awesome. Have a great day, guys.